want to talk to Facebook today or not. And yeah, you're right.
Good morning. Welcome to today's panel discussion, Energetics for Business. We have some fantastic panelists that are sitting with us here to discuss what Energetics for Business is all about. And for those who are here watching us live or on the replay, please put in the comments where you're coming in from. We would love to hear from you. Now, today's panel is brought to you by Sacred Use Empowerment Program, and these are inspirational, innovative, and conversations that really count. And today we are talking energetics in business. Now, as far as I'm concerned, all the strategies in the world cannot replace the magic of energetic alignment, right? And business is inherently energetic because we are energetic, but there is everything you do is created through energy, and your business relies on your energy to succeed, right? So as energetic beings, it's all about us. Now, I also do believe that you have two very most valuable assets as part of Energetics for Business. And I'd love to introduce the panelists here today as we go into this, is your energetic alignment and your unique strategy that goes with that. So today, as we dive into the conversation, I just want to first introduce myself. Hello, I'm Allison. I'm a well-known psychic channel and business alignment coach, and I share with soulful women in business how to become a masterful manifester aligned with your human design and supported by your soul connection. So good morning and hello. Then we have Sue, our beautiful Sue, who is our Calm the Overwhelm coach. She expertly guides stressed empaths and highly sensitive entrepreneurs and professionals out of burnout. She uses her experience, and Sue's clients experience the power of taking back their control in their own life with just a few sessions. So good morning and welcome to you, Sue. We also have Supriya with us today, and she is the business chakra and energy healer expert to yoga teachers, mindset coaches, and Ayurvedic shop owners, coaching women all around the world and business owners about the business chakra system, where the chakras in your body represent represent each part of your business itself. So this will be a fascinating conversation coming up. And we also have Michelle with us. Good morning, Michelle. Michelle is a spiritual teacher and energy healer. She is the creator and founder of the Mariposa House of Healing and Metamorphosis, where she helps spiritual women over 50 in a transitional stage of life to trust, big word, their inner guidance and clarity, and courageously co-create a new authentic life with God. So good morning and welcome to you. And finally, we have Anick. She's here with us today. Good morning. Anick is an intuitive mentor, TEDx speaker, and author. And she has spent the last 15 years teaching thousands of awakened women and men globally to create lives beyond their wildest dreams. She specializes in helping heart-centered entrepreneurs embody that highest lucrative joy, that's part of the energy, so that they can grow their business with ease, flow, and have way more fun, which is what we are all about today. So hello and welcome to you as well, Anick. Now, we have lots of questions to get into today, but first and foremost, I'd like to just go around the room, and I would love for you to share with us what energetics in business means for you. Now that I've introduced you and everyone has a bit of an idea of what you do, how do you see energetics in business for yourself and for your clients? Just as we go around the room, let's start with you, Sue.
Well, I believe that I've been an entrepreneur almost all my entire life, which is, as you can see, a little bit of time. And and one of the very first things that I learned as a very young entrepreneur at about 23 years old was that what I broadcast out either attracted or repelled or made me invisible to the people that I wanted to connect with in order to do business with them. And I discovered also that I myself am an energy source, but my business needs to be created with its own energy source.
Yes.
So when I'm working with entrepreneurs building their own business, I've created a business incubator where we spend a lot of time filling out all those important pieces so that they come to recognize what their energy is and how it aligns with the energy that they want to create for their business, because it's the business that's going to actually attract the clientele.
Exactly right, because at the end of the day, your business is a separate energy to yourself, even though it is created from your own source, right? So it's kind of it's separate, but it's not. It's like the role of mother is separate, but it's not. You're all multidimensional as one, but your business itself, like you said, has its own embodiment, its own energy, and its own
Character.
what's the word? Your character, personality,
Mm-hmm.
something to that extent for sure. Thank you, Sue. Anick, I'd love to hear from you. What's your idea of energetics in business?
Okay, I'm just landing here. Landing from the morning plane. My idea of the energetic in business is that we are energy, and I mean, everything is energy. Every single little dense, human beings are energy, places are energy, situations are energy. So, it's everything. And energetic in business is everything, because we are creators and we create all the time. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a spiritual woman on a conscious path, on a mission, on a soul purpose, we constantly creating. So it's whether we're creating from our ego, from often from fear, from limitations, from what we believe is possible, or we create from our genius, from our creator, from our soul, whatever you want to call it, from your spiritual badass, your spiritual warrior, from your spirit. So, or from, allowing divine source to create through as a vessel. Then the energy will completely shift, as if you're creating from your little ego, who's scared, who knows that she deserves only that amount of money and that amount of clients and that amount of success. So, I'm already on a tangent.
I get the passion coming out of you. It's really, it's a conscious transition too. It's like moving consciously through your business of what you're creating, because like you said, your thoughts create your reality, and it's all about that energy. And if you're projecting the wrong thoughts, then the wrong stuff is going to come through, and that strategy won't work, and the energy will just become we're going to see Sue for overwhelm and burnout. Supriya, what is your identification of energetics in business? I'd love to hear from you.
Oh gosh, there's so much, right? I mean, my entire business is about business chakras, and business chakras is all about energy centers. So we actually put our energy in our business, and we have these chakras that, either align or, are imbalanced in our business. And I always, for example, root chakra is our survival chakra, and if it's imbalanced, we're not in flow with our money or our foundation in any single way. So all about, as everybody said right here, it's all about what we're pouring in and what we are attracting into our business through these chakras, right? Heart chakra. How are we pouring love back into ourselves? As much as how we're putting into our client, what we are putting into our client. Are we pouring it back into ourselves, or are we letting it leak into our lives and into our bodies?
That is a very powerful move. Are you allowing it to leak, or are you allowing it to build you up? Michelle, would love to hear from you. Thanks.
Well, I believe obviously everything is energy, but I also believe everything is consciousness. So your business has a consciousness, every aspect of your life has a consciousness. So it's all alive and it all has its own frequency and its own vibration. And really frequency, when you start to understand frequency and really tap into your highest frequency, that's when you can really take your life to the next level. Because we are, as the law of attraction says, we attract what we are. And I was just talking to a client today about her business and how she's starting to attract these really high frequency clients because her frequency has gone up so high. And I'm even feeling that in my own life. And I feel like once you start to realize that, and you can interact with these different areas of your life, like your business is a consciousness. You can sit down with your business and you can talk to it and you can ask it what it wants, what it doesn't want.
100%.
Where is it? You know, it's there to talk to you. It's already been created. Once you have the information and idea, whatever that is, it's already created in another dimension. So you can tap into that and find out what it is. Tap into the most successful, highest vibration of whatever that idea is, and then quantum leap into that. So you can use energy in so many ways. So exciting.
Look, this is going to be a huge conversation. I can just feel it already. There is so much to dive into. Sophie, you might have to put us down for another one because I think it's just going to continue on afterwards. We have the beautiful Venus joining us today, so welcome. Love to know where you're from and if you're in business and what you do. Now, today's Energetics in Business, we're going to ask you some questions to our panelists that are going to show us how we can start to recognize our own business energy, right? Because at the end of the day, we all have the power to do this. So everyone who is watching us, I would love for you to start tuning into your business energy as we have this conversation, because there's going to be some powerful things and insights and wonderful shares that come from this conversation today that your business might be intuitively nudging you towards. We've just started this fabulous new moon in Leo. So please, please, please set your intentions before we begin this conversation, and look at where your highest timeline is starting to show you what is next for you, right, as we dive into this conversation. So first and foremost, my first question to the panelists here are signs of misalignment and signs of alignment. What do you think the key indicators are that someone is out of alignment? I'd like you to share one piece of that, like one piece of what would be out of alignment and one piece of what business looks like in alignment. And we might start with you, Supriya, first, if that's all right. Good morning, Colleen from Birmingham.
So what piece when a business is in alignment? Things are flowing. That's what I say. There is a constant flow.
Is there something specific?
Here's the thing. You will feel it. You will actually feel it. I mean, when I feel super aligned with somebody, there's like a tingling sensation that I actually feel, whether it's in my heart or solar plexus, that feels so good. And, you know, and it pushes up to the head. Actually, when something feels super aligned and super good, and you find that the conversation, whether you are on a discovery call with the client or anything else, you will feel like everything is sounding like okay, and you're flowing, and the words that they're saying totally resonate with you, or they are resonating with everything you say. That is such a good sign of alignment.
Yeah.
And a sign of anything that is misalignment is things that aren't resonating with you, or with somebody, even on a discovery call, somebody that is just, they're not clicking. You actually don't feel a good sensation in your body. I always tell people the sensations that you have when you are talking to somebody, sensations that you, is it a bad feeling on your solar plexus chakra? Is it not confidence? Is it happening in your sacral, your solar, your heart? Do you feel it in your chest? That doesn't feel right. It's also a nervous system issue. Do they make you want to go in fight or flight mode right away?
100%. There's so many nuances to what alignment and misalignment can look like. And I love how you shared that example through the discovery call, especially for those watching here. And having that same, I remember that same feeling, and I still have it now. It just doesn't go away. It just amplifies. If anything, is like when you're having a discovery call, if you are in alignment with that person, it's like a heart-to-heart connection you can't cut. It feels so good. It sort of gives you some more energy. It boosts you up, right? And that misalignment is definitely a feeling of like, oh, something's not right here, and I'm just not going to go ahead with it. But it's really, really listening to your body. I love how you've shared that part of listening to your body is super important. Michelle, let's hear from you. Misalignment and alignment.
Yeah, I think exactly what you said. Once you get into flow, it's like everything has a life of its own, and it's just going. It has momentum, and everything just coming to you. You're a magnet for everything that you want, for everything that you desire. And when you're not aligned, work feels like work. It's just drudgery. It's a lot. It's not exciting. It's exhausting. When you're in alignment, everything like boosts your energy and lifts you up, and you feel excited. You feel, even if it's a lot, because, owning your own business is a lot of work. But if you truly love it, it's like work that you love. It's like,
it doesn't become work, does it?
Something, whereas when you're not aligned, it's like, I have to make those phone calls. I have to do these posts. I have to write that copy. I it's
know.
Just feeling.
Yeah, 100%. And I know Sue can sort of, I'm sure she has had time through business, but as someone who did the career section of life before she started her entrepreneurship, I have had those, oh my God, I've got to go to work today and I've got to do the thing. And it really doesn't feel aligned, right? But now it's like, I want to go to work. Like, I've got this call today and I've got that call today and I've got to do this today. And it is really, really, it builds your energy up. And in human design, that's what we're here to do, is like build our energy up so it feels good. Right?
Yeah.
Anick, let's hear from you, my love.
You speak like a French woman. You say my name really well. A lot of Australian, they damage my name so much. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Alignment is when you work from your heart in love. Michelle mentioned when you're passionate about what you do, when you're on purpose, when it's you're creating from heart, from intuition. You create intuitively. Following the next step and the next step and the next step. And, you make a choice from your heart, you take an action and you get a result. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's what we do day in, day out, whether we're conscious of it. We're constantly. So if we're misaligned, it's going to come from fear. It's what I was saying before, like it's going to come from ego, it's going to come from limitations, and it's going to be forced and pushed, which is the paradigm of, very patriarchal and very, it's coming from the ego, coming from fear, coming from limitations. So that's misaligned. And therefore, you're going to get result that's coming from misaligned. And how do you know? Well, you're not having fun. If you're having fun, you're not having fun. If you're pushing,
That's exactly right.
it's like, if you make love and you're pushing the thing, you're trying to, force the thing to happen. It's not naturally juiced up and open like a flower. You see it in nature. You see it in lovemaking, you see it with nature. It's natural, it's organic, it's orgasmic, it's open, it's beautiful. It's effortless. Alignment is effortless. But
It
the
is.
ego would come and would want the little bastard to hold on and to be right and to keep you where you're at and to sabotage the thing. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing to heal about you. There's not something in personal development. You see healing and healing and healing and fixing the belief and changing. There's nothing to change. There's only listening to your heart and following that one step at the time. That's it. Breathing into it and looking at the result that comes. And rather than judging you, bad, not enough, you should have more clients, you should make more money. No, it's not, and it's not even about that. It's about being at service by being yourself. It's about being yourself in service. You know what I mean?
That's
I'm so passionate about
I
this.
know you have definitely shown us how to amplify the energy from the heart. Definitely. It's and this is where this is just as energy, right? Everyone is watching us here, and the energy that we're projecting out into the world from this conversation is coming from the heart, from the passion. The conversation is easy, it is flowing, it just is, and that's how you can tell that you're in alignment. So anyone watching out there, please look at where you're looking in your business. Where's misalignment? Where's alignment happening for me? And reach out for support if that's what you're looking for. Sue, let's go to you and listen to the misalignment and alignment.
Everything everybody else said doubled. That's number one. What Supriya was saying about body sensation, reading your body talk, where you feel things in your throat, in your heart, at the back of your neck, the tingle along your skin, all of that lets you know whether you're in alignment or not in alignment. If you're in alignment, your throat is open, you're able to speak freely. If you're not in alignment, it's closed down. That kind of thing. But I'd like to bring in another aspect of being in alignment with your business, because everybody has spoken about the entrepreneur, solopreneur, what you feel personally when you're out of alignment, when you're in alignment. But what we tend to forget is that our business is a separate entity. It's our other half, a best friend, another personality. It has its wishes, desires, goals, dreams, and visions, which you created for it, but then it co-created even further with you. So if its dream, its goal, its vision is different in some way from your personal goal of what you want to achieve by being in the business, doing the business, quite often you're going to feel unmotivated. You're going to face repeated obstacles and setbacks. You're going to feel stressed out and burnt out because you have taken yourself out of alignment with your business, or your business has leapfrogged ahead of where you're at, and it's just chomping at the bit to go further, and you're perhaps not quite ready for it to go there yet, which means it's a conversation between you and your business to come to an agreement, a negotiation as to how fast and how far you want to go in whichever time frame, which means you're giving yourself permission to work at your speed, which brings you back into alignment because you're having the conversation with the business, and then you're forming certain aspects of the business to work at your speed. So you're not constantly running to catch up. You are now in alignment. And when you do that, you'll find that both you and your business leap farther, faster. And you stay more successful because you're not in burnout trying to catch up.
I 100% agree with that. And I want to just add another little piece to that, is that you then having a business that has its own life force within itself from you, you can detach very easily from that when you need to, and it can still operate in its own essence, in its own steam, and then you can hop back in when you're ready. Right? That's the beauty of having this. And I very much love that, because this is what's been happening for me in recent months. And I know you've been supporting me with this, Sue, is like having that ability to jump in and out of your business when you need to.
Yeah.
Right. And still maintain that alignment, right? Because there is times when the world just says, no, you're not having anything to do with your business today. Sit down, shut up, and go sit down on the lounge and just be quiet now. That could be because you're not well. That could be because, you're just recognizing the signs within your body that you just can't keep moving the way it is.
At that speed. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still having that wisdom to know that it can speed up and slow down at your will.
And as you build your business, like quite often we get a brilliant idea and that business just flies ahead of us and it establishes itself on its own, and all of a sudden it's an entity. And we haven't done the incubator piece of it. We haven't figured out the personality, the identity, the energy, the values, the ethics of the business, assuming, of course, that they model ours, and they don't necessarily, and they don't have to, as long as they are ethical all the way along.
I would like to hope so. I would really, truly do.
Yeah, so that's what the business incubator is really all about. You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, and we've just spoken of misalignment and alignment and how that can impact us. We've spoken of burnout. It can also look like motivation, as we spoke about. It can look like financial struggles, right? And getting back into flow, I think, is a really important piece here, because I find, and I'm sure all of you would agree with me here, there is a lot of women in business that are currently in misalignment because they haven't quite grasped that understanding just yet. It's kind of just what I'm just reading the energy of the conversation and just sort of sharing some insights through this. But what I want to dive into next is looking at our energetics as such, right? Because as humans, we have a masculine energy body and we have a feminine energy body. And I would really love to go into a little bit more about the importance, because I really feel that this is something that will help everyone get back into alignment when it comes to balancing that masculine and that feminine energy in business, right? It's like strategy versus intuition, action versus creation. Like, how can, as business owners, how can we start to integrate these energies both effectively? Michelle, let's start with you, hon.
Sure. I think that right now, as we move into this new earth energy, that's one of our biggest challenges, because we've spent hundreds of years in this masculine energy, where we were taught that the harder you work, the more successful you're going to be. And it was all about your intelligence, and it was about your certifications and going to college and getting a degree. And now we're moving into this time where we're moving into the feminine, where certainly it's important to be smart and it's important to, take action. But if you're just working, like, I was in sales, corporate sales for years, and what they teach you is it's a numbers game. And it is to some extent, but when you really tune into the energetics and you're tuned into the intuition and you're being led divinely with your business, it's a whole different experience. And I think how you blend the two is you use your intuition, you connect to your business, you connect to your guides. And when you get inspired, when you are guided, when you have ideas, you take action. That's the masculine part. You know, a lot of people think this is all woo-woo. This intuition is guiding you and everything just comes your way. Well, you have to take divine action. Otherwise, you can get all these downloads and all this guidance, but if you don't take action on any of it, then nothing's going to happen and you're going to stop receiving. So I think that's also part of the challenge when you're starting out, is that you get these ideas, but they seem kind of crazy and out of the box. And so like no one's ever done that before, you know, and so that's scary because you're going to be the first. But the exciting part is you are the first, you're the leader, you're the one that's creating something new. And in this new energy, it's the innovation, it's the leaders, it's the people that are doing things first that are leading the way for all the rest. So we're at a time where we have to do things differently. We can't look at a template of what made someone else successful and use that to make ourselves successful. We have to find our own template.
Absolutely. I don't know how many times I have thought to myself, oh, I'll do it, you know, and you follow that masculine tone and you just go, right, I'll do it this way. I'll launch this way. I'll do A, B, C, D, E, and you know, A to Z, right? You do the A to Z. And then you kind of think, oh, that fucking sucked. So excuse my French, that forking sucked, you know, like it didn't work out as well as I would like. So next time when I launch, I'm going to do it this way and I'm going to start on this date because that I know that there's a moon and I know this and I know that, and you sort of tune in and you start to follow. I mean, we're women, we're meant to have flow. We're not meant to have, like, structure is great, but there is flow that goes in between the structure, you know, and there's nothing more aligning and joyful than just following your own flow. So any woman in business who's going through I don't know what to do, what strategy, fuck the strategy, follow your flow. Supriya, let's hear from you.
Oh gosh, how can I follow up that? Like, those are really good. No, and as Michelle just said, we are headed into like a new earth energy, so which is more divine feminine energy. We're all very much used to like the whole dynamics of this is the only way to get clients and it's a numbers game, just like Michelle said, it's all, you know, all of that stuff. However, being in the space of receiving is far more attractive, and in the sense that, you know, it leads to less, you know, it doesn't lead to burnout. It leads to a lot more just wellness and mental wellness and being with yourself. So being in the space of receiving and, you know, heart chakra, learning to fill your own cup first. And balancing out your feminine, which, by the way, it's also your sacral. I like to call that the womb center. Balancing out your divine feminine and your divine masculine as well would really create that balance. I mean, because there is a time for action, but there's also a time for intuition as well.
Absolutely.
There's a time,
which is that structure between the flow. You know, there's a time for that. Yeah, okay, it's time to launch, or it's time to this, but then there's like, I've got to tune into that.
And there's a time for action. There's a time for action steps, is what I tell my clients, action steps. But, you know, let's have some space. I mean, the new moon, like, what better time to do that with the new moon right now? That's coming up. What better time to do that than with like setting your intention? And to take all of those action steps later. So there is a balance. I'm in there, but, you know, finding 100%. That, finding that balance. It's really up to the person on how much action they can take and how much. So like listening to your body. Listen, we go back to listening.
Absolutely. And this is Spirit is just sort of showing me as part of the conversation here is like, that's where we get to jump in and out of our business, right? When we need to go into that feminine and just take a step back. And then when we need to go into the masculine, we do the action steps for our business, or vice versa. It could be we need to do action steps behind the scenes and we're showing up in flow at the front. So it's a beautiful dance between it all. Sue, love to hear from you.
Well, what I love about working with women is that each one of us is so unique. Each one of us has our own balance between the masculine and the feminine. Some women are definitely more structured, more into the framework, more into the action taking, and others are totally into the flow, the creativity, the intuition, and it's rare that you will find a woman who is balanced between both. So I would encourage, and I do encourage my clients to discover which they are. Are they heavier on the masculine or on the feminine? And then to build their working time, their creative time, their admin time around when they are most in their masculine or most in their feminine, depending on which it is they need to employ at that moment, so that everything flows harmoniously.
Yeah, it's
And
being consciously aware of that too.
Yeah. So figure out who you are. Take the time. Notice how you structure your day. Personally, me, I'm more into the creativity and the intuition. Please don't ask me to be structured. Please don't ask me to fit into a framework. It hurts my little head to do that. But I know that I have to if I
Well,
want
you
to be
managed in the
successful.
framework to show up for this call today. So thank you in the action steps.
You're welcome. What I do recommend, excuse me, is that we look at mindful decision making. If we're going to work from a balanced masculine feminine, then we have to take the time to discover what mindful decision making is. Mindful decision making means you look at what you have to decide on. You look at what the outcome needs to be. And then you listen to your body as you ask the questions that you need to ask in order to make the decisions. Now, in mindful decision making, if you ask your body, it means you're not asking this wonderful thing that holds all our thoughts and memories and our intellect. You actually physically ask your heart, your gut, your back, your hips, your womb, whatever you need to ask in order to get the answer that rings true in your body. Because if you make your decisions based on your body sense, then you take that decision back to the brain that holds all your stories and says, and ask, and then you do the little taste test, the litmus test. Does this decision actually fit with the intel that I've got on the decision, on why the decision has to be made, when it has to be made, how it has to be made, and what that decision is actually going to be. So you're running it through a second filter. You're not just relying on your brain or your body.
And it feels like running it through a screen of nuances. It's like refining until you get specific. Very,
so
very helpful.
You don't get your first knee-jerk reaction. Yep, that's what I'm going to do with it. Because every time I've done that, it hasn't worked. Well.
It's not intuitive, is it? It's very structured. I'm going to do it that way. But I think from the human design aspect, I see this as, how are you responding? As a generator, we are designed to respond, but for someone who is a projector, their response is not through responding. It's through invitation and recognition. So as a business owner, are you looking at how you're responding? Because that could be alignment and whatnot. I know that
and
you said it earlier.
That projector generator person.
And I know you said earlier that we tend to sort of be all in, either camp, what I find with business owners is when they've worked out the too much in the masculine, like the years and years and years of insurance sales that I did, I was so in the goddamn masculine that I had to get out of that. A pendulum swung. I'm not sure if everyone here as coaches has noticed this, but some people pendulum swing to the other end of the spectrum. And then there's this balancing that needs to come back into alignment.
Exactly.
Okay.
And no, actually, I didn't say that people tend to be one or the other. We are both, but we tend to lean more towards one or the other at different times as we need to. Like you said, when you were in that sales business, you had no choice. You had to be in that spot at that time.
KPIs and numbers, and it's all about the numbers.
But that's not you.
However,
now.
I must put a caveat into that. As business owners, we do need to know our numbers. So it's still a numbers game, just not as in depth. Anick, let's hear from you, my love. And
Yeah. Can you ask me a question again?
Sure. It's in regards to the balancing the masculine and feminine energy, you know, that strategy versus intuition. How can we integrate them effectively?
Well, that's a dance, you know, and when you say integrate them effectively, it's a dance. It's like the misalignment and the alignment. It's a dance. It's I suppose the first thing is to be aware, to be present, to sit with the energy that you're in, because basically, I mean, it's been said, it's been shared already, like the feminine energy is the receptive, is in the flow, is the nurturer, the carer, the one that just flows and dances and nurtures and cares, and the masculine energy is the directional, the purpose, the goal oriented, the action taker, the one that goes and get put the food on the table. So it's like a process of creation, you know. You sit in your feminine, you allow intuition to come. I mean, you're not going to sit there forever, but whatever works for you to be in your feminine, whether it's having a beautiful dance in your living room or going to the forest for a walk, putting yourself in a place where you will be able to be receptive to receive the next piece that you need to move forward in your business, in your creation. And once you got the base, well, then you have to take the actions. You have to move with the energy that you receive, with the sign, with the information that you receive in your feminine, and you take an action in the direction of where you want to go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
It's that dance of being open and receptive. So if you contracted and stressed and you want to control the thing, you're not going to be able to be open to receive the intuitive piece that you need, the guidance,
that's right,
the sign, so the idea, the inspiring idea, because inspiration comes from spirit, inspired, you know, it's spirit guiding you. It's your heart is open, and for your heart to be open, you've got to be in a place, in an environment that makes you feel good. To be in your feminine feels yummy. It's like beautiful fabrics of silk and velvet. So it's kind of it's basic self-care. The feminine is the carer, so you have to take care of yourself, put yourself in an environment or do something that really juices you up. You know, I love to dance, I love to sing.
Yes,
and make you know, and then you're in your feminine, you receive the piece that you need, and then shoot, you go and take the action and go and penetrate life and go towards what you the end result, the outcome that you want to create, you want to have.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. It's yes, and it's really integrating that leadership style, like, you know, showing people how you do that dance, and then using the masculine to decision make and to action take, and to really start to move forward at your own pace. So thank you very much for that. Now, I'm just wondering, how is our audience going out there? Do we have any questions? Because we have one more question to answer, and then we're going to open the floor for conversation and questions. So please, anyone who is watching and has been listening to this conversation, we would love to have your questions thrown at us so we could answer divinely for you. The last question that I really want to go into here is, we've been talking about intuition and taking action. And I know that having, and as Anick just said, the power of taking those consistent steps, you know, listening and doing and listening and doing. I want our panelists here today to have a tip for us, a practical advice for an entrepreneur who is looking to align their business with their energy. I'd love for you to share something like that. Energy management, self-care, something specific would be really great for our audience to have. Sue, let's start with you.
Sure.
What practical tip could you share with us entrepreneurs that will help us get into our energetics and our alignment?
Well, assuming that everybody on the panel, and I know we all are, and most people watching or listening are spiritually guided people, part of where we receive our intuition from is our guides. So I've got 2 tips. Number 1, start talking to your guides. I know you already talk to them, but have one-on-one conversations with them. It isn't a mantra, it isn't a meditation, it isn't a staring into the flame. It's a, hey guys, hello, can I get your attention over here for just a minute? Yeah, I've got this question and I really need an answer. And so you just simply ask that question. They are people just like us. They just happen to exist on a different plane. Their work, they go to work every day. Their work is to guide us. As strange as that may seem to us, that is their work.
It's not strange at all. I'm all about that.
And if we don't engage them, talk to them, ask them, debate with them, cry on their shoulders, get angry at their advice, and then ask them to talk to us. That's my first tip is number 1, start talking to your guides, start debating with them, start questioning them. And then come to a mutual decision with them, because they are your guides for a reason. The other one is practicing your gut intuition, which means that you could give yourself one small, unimportant decision that you have to make each day. And you can ask that question about to yourself, to your gut, not to your head, not to your guides, to your gut. What is your answer, gut, on this thing that I have to do? Should I be spending $50 on a new pair of whatever? And your gut is going to come back with an answer, and choose to accept the answer. Don't question it. Make it an unimportant decision, but one that you will see results from if you do it or don't do it.
That's correct.
Ask your gut, is this a go or a no-go? Your gut is going to come back with a squitch, which is a no, or a woo, which is a yes. And just do it. See what happens after a week of 7 small decisions guided by your gut. If you don't want to use your gut, use your heart.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use your heart, use your throat.
Yeah, there is all different ways to listen to your body and listen to the way that your body's talking to you. I often tell my clients jokingly, you know, ask your body if it wants the chocolate or not. Like, your brain says yes. You know, we all love chocolate. We're all women. Like, oh, yeah, give me chocolate anytime. But does your body, does your gut want it? No, I don't want chocolate.
Every part of me wants chocolate. All
no,
the time.
You have to listen to your body. Anick, I'd love to hear from you.
So you're asking for a practical tip to be in alignment in energetically.
How would you help somebody get into alignment? A quick practical tip that they could use and walk away with today
Oh.
that would help them get into alignment in their business right now from you.
Okay, I'll show you something that I do that I love, because I'm a visionary and I got gazillions of ideas. So for me to help me ground things, I do some sort of mind mapping. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
So
you might have to be a bit closer to the camera.
Yeah, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what it is. I make a big circle and then I branch like a sunshine. Okay.
Yes.
Have you heard of mind mapping? Anyone here has heard of mind mapping?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a mind mapper fan.
There you go. So that's what I do. I put it on paper. I put my big circle in the middle. So my heart's desire, my goal, my intention, what my heart really wants to create, and then I branch out what it needs, to, all the steps that needs to happen. Like in my business, I've got five branches: self-leadership, self-love, self-care, self-expression, and intuitive creativity. So these are my 5 things in my, okay. So they all have to be there in every project that I have. So there's a big circle in the middle. It could be a money goal that you have. It could be anything that the next program, I'm launching a new program on Telegram, Raise Your Vibration in 21 days. I'm super pumped. I've received it in my feminine. So now I'm taking the action. I map it out. Okay. So who is that for? What you're going to receive in there? All
so
of that.
What's the practical tip the practical tip that you've given us today is to start to list using that mind mapping.
It's using a map. It's instead of sitting with all your ideas like
100%. There is a really
I need it myself, so I mean it helps me, and it helps.
Absolutely.
I've given it to all my clients. Like, okay, you've got this idea. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Let's just mind map. Let's just see, like put it on paper, and
it's a good way to ground it in, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Absolutely.
It's very simple, but it's just like it's there. It exists.
A good grounding tool. Thank you.
It makes you feel so good, and also it helps. Like for me, as an intuitive, as a super creative, as a visionary, I need to. It makes me feel grounded and have a direction, and I know the steps, that I know what I need to make this happen. I mean, I stay open with the flow, with whatever can it might, I might have to flow with it, but it's there. It's like, oh yeah, this is it.
Thank you. Yes, that is it. Yes, we only have a few minutes left. Sorry to cut you off, but we need to hear from Supriya and Michelle. So Michelle, you have your mic off. We'll listen to you first, hon.
I have my what?
Oh, you had your microphone off and Supriya had hers on. So I just asked you to share first.
Oh, okay. I 2 things. Number one, I want to just kind of piggyback on what Sue said about your guides, because if you knew the team of beings that you had around you that were your fans,
right?
Your leaders, and that their job is to get you to your highest potential, you would never feel alone again. You would never doubt yourself again. So it's important to have a connection with them, but you have to have a relationship. As Sue said, they're beings in another dimension. So you wouldn't just, you need to build a relationship with them. You need to reach out to them. And when they do come back to you, you need to acknowledge it and you need to take action, because everything is divinely timed. So they can tell you to do something, but if you're like, I don't have time for that today. You try and do it a week later, it may not work. So you can ask, what are the number 1 thing or top 3 things I should do today for my business? Get specific.
It's a really
and one of the things that you ask is trust. And I think that that's really where we get, it's hard to know, is this my head or is this my intuition? Is it my heart? Who is sending me this information? And can I trust it? So I wanted to touch on that because discernment is super, super important. So I would say, as Soraya has been talking about this whole call, how does it feel in your body? Does it feel good in your body? And then also, is it based on the past? Because if it's based on the past and something that you knew or learned in a book, it's not your intuition. Your intuition is something you never thought of. It's something that you don't know where it came from. It's crazy. You're like, why am I doing that? That sounds insane. That's your intuition. So
Yes.
I think that's the way to trust. Feel it in your body and know that if it's something new and innovative and crazy, then trust that. Don't trust what makes sense. Because what makes sense is where we're living now. We don't live in a world that makes sense anymore.
We do not. We do not. Thank you for sharing. Trust is a really, really big, powerful thing. And I think if it's and I really feel that it's a practice that needs to be harnessed every single day. Like, I remember when we first start getting your intuitive nudges, they sound so wacky out there. You're like, I couldn't even. But after 10, 15, 20 years of practice, you get that message. Now you go, righto, I'm onto it. Right? It's just that explicit trust that you know it's all going to work out in your favor. Right? And I thank you for that. That's a wonderful, wonderful tip. Supriya.
Wow, so many really, really good suggestions and tips.
I know, right?
I suggest a lot of those for my clients as well, especially like start listening to your guys is a really important one. I also use muscle testing in any case where if you can ask a yes no question, you can just muscle test in your body and just see like, okay, this is is this going to work, yes or no? And if it's a no, like that's another good thing. I also use a pendulum too as well for a lot of these decisions too. So but yeah, asking your guides, listening to your guys and really asking them, because you know what, Allison, you're so right. Like there is a huge team just waiting there to help you, as like just waiting there to help you and to guide you. So
yeah, and they want nothing better than your success.
Exactly.
That's their whole entire motto, is your success is paramount.
Exactly. Listen, like they're there to help you, and they are there to help guide you and give you like the lessons that you would need to learn and things like that. Like, I mean, it's very paramount. It's very paramount to be able to listen and to that, and to trust and not doubt your intuition, because your intuition, it can be wacky at times. And a lot of I can tell you on a personal level, a lot of my decisions were made so wacky, and I just didn't know how I was going to do something.
It's all worked out.
It ended up being the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I'm hearing you. I have had my own crazy, wacky things that have happened intuitively, and then other things that I'm just like, yep, I get the message today, and then 3 hours later it happens. I'm like, I knew it was coming. I should have paid attention.
Exactly.
Yes, some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tips. Thank you, everybody. I know that we're just about on the top of the hour. I just want to recap for those who are listening, just in case anyone didn't write these notes down, but the top tips that everyone has shared with us today is guides. That's, I think, the top priority, is speaking to your spirit guides, right? Number 1 on the list. Number 2 is listening to your gut or your body, right? It's the second feature that we have in this. We're having in this human skin, we're having a spiritual lesson through this human body, right? So our body is our second step. So we listen to our guides, listen to our body. The next thing that I really heard that was powerful was trust, right? Because trusting ourselves as women, we're pretty much badgered not to. So, you know, that in itself is a learning experiment, but it is also powerful when you tap into it. Then we have that discernment, mind mapping, and of course, pendulum testing. So write those tips and tricks down. I tell you what, because they will all work. Every single one of them will work, I promise. And Vina has shared with us that she is a side project hobby strategic marketing consultant for small business owners. So thank you for sharing that with us. And she did say that at the moment she's heavier on her masculine energy, but knows that she's very spiritual, and that having this conversation today has really helped her balance out what feminine strategy she wants to start moving forward with her aligned business. So thank you so much for that. Is there any other questions? If you are here live with us, I'm not sure if there are any other questions. Julia has said, thank you for your beautiful feminine energy. Reminder of so many tips. Don't have a question right now, covered so much. So thank you, ladies. And Vena's saying, thank you again. Such an amazing and incredible, enlightening conversation. So thank you, ladies, for those who have watched and joined. So it's been an absolute pleasure to be your facilitator today. Sophia, would you like to come back in and share with us any final last minute notes that I may have missed?
You've missed some fantastic. No, I'm going to say.
I'm sorry.
No, you haven't missed anything. Thank you ever so much, Alison, for being a wonderful facilitator. Thank you, everyone, for being an incredible, honest, amazing panelist. I've been sitting here listening. I love all your tips. I love your mind map, Anick. We need to maybe do an event, a masterclass or something on mind mapping. Thank you ever so much. So no, all is good for everyone who's watching. I hope you had a good time. Please put any more comments in the comments, any feedback in the comments, we will get to them. I'm just having a quick look. Coming up next week is our witches panel. I think I am getting rather tongue-tied today. Women as Witches, Past, Present and Future. That is coming up next week on the 14th. And of course, for everyone who is listening, do click on the links below. Come and join us just for $1. Come and join us. And come and join the Harmony Fest. That's only coming up in 6 weeks' time. We've got 3 days of online wonderful experiences, virtual stall holders, masterclass facilitators, lots of healers, and even online readers. So do come and check out the links below and come and join us for that. So thank you ever so much. And thank you again, Alison.
Pleasure. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, ladies. It's been an absolute pleasure. Just finally, before have you stopped going live?
No,
okay, then. Are we still live?
Yep, we're still on.
Oh, sweet. Hello. Okay, so I just quickly wanted to just finish off with a check-in with ourselves and with our business energy. So if you would just like to close your eyes for half a moment and just get your feet nice and grounded, I'm just going to ask you to see your higher self in your mind's eye. And as you're breathing, you're grounding your physical presence into the earth, so you stay grounded for this process. But just start to visualize your higher self in your mind's eye. And I also want you to see your highest masculine version of yourself. So you have your higher self as your feminine version, as your higher self as your masculine version. Just having a look at those two together in front of you in your mind's eye. Does any of them need a bit of shining, a bit of cleaning, a bit of energetic healing? All right, because sometimes our energy bodies can get a bit out of whack. So just take a look at your masculine, your feminine, your mind's eye, and just give them a little bit of a shine. Does your masculine's armor need a bit of shining up? Does your feminine energy need a bit of hair brushing? Just take a look at her and him and see what they need from you today. Just one thing. And when it's done, thank them for showing up. Watch them come together as one in your mind's eye. And then I want you to breathe in that energy from your mind's eye into your heart. Take in that energy nice and deep, breathing in and then letting it go, embodying it through your cells of your physical body now, grounding the energy in of your highest. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and trust that your highest masculine and feminine are now embodied into your body here. And you may move on forward with your day at lightning speed. Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to ground some of that energy in because I know it was quite high vibrational and I don't want everyone to walk away going, what the hell just happened? So thank you from the bottom of my heart.